Now let's see one use case of Cognito user pool with API gateway. So let's see how we can secure AWS API gateway using Cognito user pool. So I will use new user pool for that. Let's create user pool and let's use public client only so we can easily get token. I will use implicit grant type to get the tokens quickly. Return type, this time we need return type. Let's use localhost 3000 and ignore everything. All we need is just to create one user. Okay, I clicked on wrong option. Let's close all this which is not required. Open login page. I am creating user. Now our Cognito pool have one user. Let's go to API gateway. And let's create HTTP API gateway. Here, API name, let's call it Cognito demo. And next, before that, it's asking for integrations. So I can add any Lambda function. So let's create Lambda function also, which will act as backend of our API gateway. I will create one function. Nothing to change here. Let's create it as it is. Okay. Let's name it as Cognito. So what something will do, it will just return something hello world, or it will return hello from Lambda. Let's see if it is able to recognize or not. Okay, Lambda, and here function, and next add route, get route, integration with this function, next create. Now we have this API gateway with Lambda as backend, and I can invoke by clicking on this URL, and I'm able to see hello from Lambda. But suppose if there is some thing behind this API gateway that we do not want to show to rest of world without having some kind of authentication. For that, we can use Cognito with API gateway. So for that, I will go to authorization, manage authorizer, create authorizer, and here I will use JWT authorizer, and name, let's call it demo, and issuer URL. So we know what is issuer URL. We need to go to Cognito page, and here we have token signing key URL. This one we can use, but no need to do this one. Till here only sufficient. For audience, we need to enter the client ID of this client ID, this public client ID here, and it's available as AUD parameter in the tokens that are generated. So to see it, we can enable implicit flow to get tokens in the browser, and to get tokens directly in the browser URL, I'm using implicit flow. Otherwise, I have to make one extra API call using Postman. And here, if I select token, it's giving error because I just enable it. It will take a couple of minutes before it starts working. So let's wait. Okay, now it's working. Sign in and the password. We got the tokens, and here we have ID token. ID token is the one which will be used for doing authentication to API gateway. So I will just decode it in jwt.io. Let's use new UI, and here. So here we can see audience here. So the token is created for this client. So in audience, we will see client ID, this one 5, starting with 5 and ending with G. So we will see this client ID in the ID token. That's why we are using client ID here also. Now let's create it. And now for this get route, let's attach that authorizer which we just created, and attach it. Now if I try to access API gateway URL directly, then it will not work. It will say unauthorized. To access it, I need to copy it from here, and here also it will not work. I need to pass the token as authorization bearer token. Send. Now I am able to see the response. So remember here that make sure to use ID token, because if you use access token, then it will not work. Let's see that also. If I use access token instead of ID token, then it will. Okay, looks like access token is also working now. I remember earlier it not used to work, only ID token used to work, but now access token is also working. So it's your wish to use access token, or if I corrupt it, it will not work. So it's your wish. If you want to use access token, use it. If you want to use ID token, use it. But this is how we can secure AWS API gateway using Cognito user pool.